everyone, my name is Celine and today I'm going to film my favorite books of 2015. Now, these are going to be the books that I have read in 2015. They haven't necessarily been published this year, so just to let you know that these are my personal favorites of the year, and obviously I love every single one of them, so I'm just going to show them to you and give you a very brief synopsis. The first book is White Oleander by Janet Fitch, which deals with a main character and her mother. In the beginning of the book, her mother goes to prison, so that means our main character, who is only about 16 years old, has to be placed at a foster family, which goes horribly wrong. This is basically a book about how the system doesn't always work for you and how things can go wrong in just a few months. And it's a very cruel story, but it's very beautiful as well, and I definitely had to put it on my list. Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy, which you have to get used to his writing style because he is very descriptive, which I love because his descriptions are absolutely impeccable, but you have to get used to them. But once you do that, wow. This book is about a girl and 3 men who all want to fight for her and win her love. And that's basically it. It's a very beautiful love story. I fell in love with it, and you have to fall in love with it as well, or at least read it. Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alira Saenz. This is a young adult book about 2 boys who become friends, and their friendship grows and become this very beautiful thing. It's also about their lives, how they grow up, how they live, and basically just a very beautiful story. It's also a little bit about philosophy on life, which I love. The Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro. I read 2 books by Kazuo Ishiguro in 2015. This one and, why have I forgotten the title? Never Let Me Go. This one was by far my favorite. This is about a butler who takes some days off from work, and then we follow him as he drives around the landscape, visits some friends, and that's it. But it's so good. Really, you have to trust me. Now, the next one became one of my absolute favorite books of all time, and that is The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. This one, as well as the first book in the Kingkiller Chronicle series, The Name of the Wind, are so mind-blowing. I can't describe it. It's basically a fantasy series in which we follow Groth, who has had quite a remarkable life. So he tells his life in 3 days, 1 book for each day, and this one obviously follows his second day as he is telling the story. A Prayer for Owen Meany by John Irving. Now, John Irving is an author that you have to get used to. I had to read some books of his before I really started enjoying him. This one was amazing. It is about Owen Meany, who accidentally kills his best friend's mother in a baseball game, and it's also about how Owen Meany says that it wasn't his fault because all of his actions are controlled by God. Yes, this is partly religious, but it is also mind-blowingly good. It has some amazing descriptions of family and life and their friendship, the 2 boys' friendship. The next one is a book I got from the library, and that is The Book of Strange New Things by Michelle Faber. This is a sci-fi novel that takes place on another planet, and I never in a million years thought that it would become one of my favorite books, but it's really, really good. I think you might have heard of it through other people's channels, and I have only heard praise for it, and there is a reason for that. It's simply so good. It deals with, I think he's called Peter, the main character, who goes to this other planet in order to preach because he's a preacher. He has to preach for these new creatures that live on this planet, and then it evolves from there. We also follow things happening on Earth meanwhile, and it's just a fantastic book about friendship and acceptance, and I really loved it. Among Others by Joe Walton. I was very pleasantly surprised by this book. It is a fantasy book, but it's not heavy fantasy. It's more like a very cute story mingled with some fantasy elements, and I love that because I'm not the biggest fantasy reader. This is about a little girl who goes to a boarding school, and she feels kind of alone. She doesn't feel like she fits in with the others. So she has this kind of language with her dead twin sister through fairies, and that's all I can really say. But I love this book, and I think I'm going to have to reread this one at some point in time. The Steroid Life of A.J. Thackeray by Gabrielle Sevin. I'm sure you've heard of this book. I'm not going to talk too much about it. I read it in 2015 and I fell in love with it. It is about a love for books. It is about a little girl who grows up in a bookstore. And I mean, if you love books, then I'm pretty sure you're going to really like this book as well. Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. This book plays with your mind like no other book. It is amazing. I've never read anything like it. I really don't want to say too much about it because you have to experience it for yourself. Because yes, this is one of those books that you have to experience. And that's all I can say. I can tell you though that it's about Sue, who lives in a poor family and she lives through stealing things. She is basically a thief. And then things evolve from there. Don't think you know where this is going, because you absolutely don't. Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen was one of my favorite classics of this year. This is a Victorian Gothic novel. However, it's not until the very last part of the book that the Gothic parts set in. It is about a main character who wants to become a woman and socialize with other people. So her parents allow for her to stay at this mansion, including this Northanger Abbey. And she meets some interesting people. She grows up, and it's basically a life journey in just 250 something pages, and it's extremely, extremely good. Tell the Wolves I'm Home by Carol Rivka Brandt. This is the Danish title because this one was published in 2015 in Denmark. Such a beautiful story. This is about so many things. It's about AIDS. It's about dealing with AIDS back in the times when when you didn't really know what the disease was like, how it was transferred to other people. So it's about this angst that you had for the disease. But it's also about a family in which we have a girl who grows up and realizes that one of her best friends has died. Something like that. It's been some time since I read it, but basically a very beautiful story. And it takes place in New York in 1987, which is the year I was born. So that's another extra plus for this book. Northern Lights by Philip Pullman. Now I do realize you can't see the cover because I've taken off the dust jacket. But this is the first book in the His Dark Materials series by Philip Pullman. I loved it. I'm still in the process of completing the very last book in the trilogy, but I absolutely love it. Northern Lights is about a little girl who lives in a fantasy world. One day she realizes that things are happening in the North Pole, which she shouldn't know about, but she does, and she wants to explore that. She wants to go on this big adventure, and basically this is perfect for reading during Christmas. I did that, and I just really love the stories. I agree with everyone who says that this is a great story, because it certainly is. I have 2 more books to go. The next one is The Interestings by Meg Wolitzer, which is about New York, different characters who meet at this summer camp when they are in their teens. And they become friends, then they are scattered, and then we follow them as they grow up in and around New York. It doesn't sound like much, but it is absolutely amazing, because that's why it's on my list. I really, really love this book, and I really love this cover as well. It brightens up any day. I have saved the best for last, because this has got to be my favorite book of 2015, hands down. And that is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I have so many feelings when it comes to this book. It touches me, it breaks my heart, but in a good way. I read this book in June, I think, and I've been thinking about it since then. So that says something about how good it is. It's basically about 4 main characters, wherein 2 of them are the actual main characters. They are the ones we actually follow. They live in New York, and one of the men has had a very cruel life, and we don't hear about it until gradually, which is nerve-wracking, but so good as well. And this book teaches you empathy with a capital E. I have so much praise for this one. I would have loved for it to have won the Man Booker Prize. It didn't, but it was shortlisted. If that tells you something about how good it is, then I don't know. I always become kind of speechless when talking about this book, so let me just tell you that you have to do your research and see if it's something for you, and if it is, then please pick it up, because it certainly deserves so. And those were all of my favorite books of 2015. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you got some recommendations as to books you can pick up in 2016 or later. I definitely recommend all of these titles that I just showed you. They are very close to my heart and they brought a smile to my face. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day, everyone. Happy reading. Bye bye.